Hi, Star Fam. How are we doing? It is so good seeing you all today. So here's the thing. Your girl has had some work done. So I have I you guys know if I'm not here, I'm either working or I'm either at the dentist. So I've had a little bit of dental surgery done. So I'm not going, oh God, already. We're starting already. So I will be talking a little weird for a couple of days, but I literally had to give myself time to rest, to get on here because I just started talking, to be quite honest with you, today. Like, that's how sore my face has been for the last few days. And I've been wanting to come on here and talk to you guys about so much stuff, but it just wasn't possible with the stuff that was going on. So, right now, give your girl a second. We're going to work our way up to the things that we wanted to talk about. I did want to talk about the Benito Bowl. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Um, and I think I might do a reality TV chat depending on how everything is feeling here. But just, give me a moment. We'll get there. But I was just like, I cannot leave them any longer. Like, I was supposed to give myself another day of rest, and I was like, I can't do this. So that's why this live is so late, because I just decided at the last minute, I was like, I have to get on here and I have to talk to them. Like, I can't be gone for this long. I hate it. Because I'm watching my channel, like, I'm seeing the comments, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I literally cannot talk right now. So that's why we're running a little wonky on this channel. But we're back. Give your girl some time. let the stitches get out of my mouth. And when the stitches are gone, we can get back to the kikiing like we used to. But thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining. Oh God, I can't stop laughing. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. I've missed you so much. And listen, this I was not going to cover Love is Blind until next week. This last episode pissed me off so much. I was like, oh no, we got to talk. We have to talk about this nonsense. Here's what I want to say about Love is Blind before we get into it. They just need to wrap this up. They just need to wrap this up. I really don't think, and I don't care how promising some of these relationships look, I really don't think we're getting any marriages at the end. I feel like this show is throwing us some haymakers, and they're going to do a whole switch on us next week. It's going to be totally different vibes than what we went into the last episode with. I really think that at this point, Love is Blind has lost its mojo. It's lost the formula. They keep on trying to create Lauren and Cameron. It just isn't working, especially since we have to be honest here. Lauren and Cameron made sense because I think at that time we still had a black president. We had a black president. America was, we were coming off a black president. America was real progressive at that point. We were hopeful. Like America looked and felt different. The America that we are in now is so freaking regressive. We're about to surpass Jim Crow. And it's like you're not going to be able to find those love stories that made your show such a hit because it is such it's such a different environment now. And I feel like this show has proven, at least the last seasons have proven, love really isn't blind, especially when you are in a nation that is reckoning with this racial and gender bias. So it's just going to be very hard to find those love stories because now we're dealing with the most toxic men, the most desperate women, and all of these people who are coming on the show acting like the environment that we are currently in is not going to affect the relationship and its outcome. So I just feel like they got to wrap it up. After Philly, pack it up. It's done. Like it's not what it used to be, and we just have to let it go. Let's get into it. If you are just joining me and you are new here, hi, I'm Nikki.Star. I do comedic reviews of some of your favorite reality TV shows. I am going to talk about all the episodes in brief, if I can. Give me about 40 or 45 minutes or so, and I'll break down each episode. Give me 15 minutes after the live is done, and I will put the timestamps in the description box. Also, after the review, I talk and chat with the Star fam for about an hour or so. So the video was 2 hours, but the review was probably about 40 or 45 minutes, sometimes 30, depending on how much I like the episode or the episodes at this point. So that is the breakdown of my review. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with episode 1. Oh, Lord. Oh, I support a black woman's rights and wrongs. So if you're coming here because you think I'm going to tear down Tyler, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Team Tyler. Love is Blind, episode 1. This was the best. So Nick and Vanessa come in to greet the men and the women. And I have to say, this is the best that Vanessa has ever looked. I don't know who's styling her, but whoever did her hair, makeup, and styling, she looked amazing. This is the best she has ever looked. The Ohio cast. Is it me? But those people did not look like the pictures. And normally, Love is Blind, the pictures never look as good as how the people actually show up on camera. We see this Ohio cast, and I was just like, what happened? There was a whole disconnect. I was like, oh, it must be something in the water in Ohio because these people do not look like what I expected. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on over there in Ohio? it just me? But that cast just did not look like the pictures or even the trailer. They look so different on this show. I was a little, I was a little taken aback, but it's Ohio. Everybody got their own standard and version of tens wherever you are. Anyway, as soon as we meet here, you know what? I'm in a tinge of pain, but I'm still be honest. I'm gonna still be honest. Let's just go for it. As soon as we meet Emma, I go, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, low racial self-esteem Asian girl. Shout out to the Asian community and all of y'all who watch me. Thank you for being here. We're gonna get through this. Y'all gotta do something. Y'all gotta do something. These reality TV shows got you out here looking a mess. We meet Emma, she's instantly crying. She's instantly crying. She's letting us know that she was adopted by white people. And I'm like, I already knew, no shade, Emma. I already knew what your story was going to be. I already knew, and no shade, I don't want to see this. It is uncomfortable for me as a Black person to see somebody who is not even of my culture, of my people, of my ethnicity, sitting on this show vying for approval from white men. We're in a different season. We're in a different time. This is just not a look that's going to work anymore. And the Asian community, y'all need to start laying hands on these reality TV producers because they got y'all out here looking crazy. This is what they are putting out to the world. This, you have to realize, I'm sorry, Emma, you are not coming on this show representing you. You are an Asian face in a sea of whiteness. You are representing every Asian person. It's not fair. It's just how it is. Welcome to America. That's just how it goes. So when you go on these shows, you are representing your people, whether you like it or not. You got to put your best face forward, right? Your best face or foot, best face and foot forward, right? You cannot be on this show embarrassing yourself. Reality TV is not where you should go to be vulnerable. I keep on telling y'all, if y'all going to get on these reality TV shows, you better have a character. We're going to talk about somebody who had a character to play and it worked very well for them. You better have a character ready to go. Do not show us your real self. Do not be vulnerable. This ain't Love Island. I keep on telling you people that only work for Landria. They ain't never going to work for nobody else ever again. That was a divine assignment. You have to come on here ready to show off, ready to get in front of your audience and say, hey, I'm here, let's go. If you went on there saying, I was adopted by white people, but I'm a proud Asian woman and just start, I'm not Asian, so I don't know, but do your Asian stuff and let these people know who you are, represent, saying I gave myself a middle name because my family, I had to take my family's last name, but I gave myself an Asian middle name because I love myself and I love my people. You know how many Asian people will be running to come and support you because this is not normal, right? You rarely see an Asian person on TV with high racial self-esteem who is here to represent and letting the world know I love who I am. Y'all got a problem with me. I don't. You know how many Asian people will eat, especially Asian women, will eat that up? You come on this show, say, I'm looking for love. I normally date white guys because that's just where I'm from. I'm looking to expand because I know that there's a man out there for me because all the men are ready to dine on Emma. Something like we needed you to come to this show with some pride and just who you are. You don't even have to be an Asian. Just showing up and being like, I'm here to take up space. You crying every damn episode over the same thing. With the tragic Asian adoptee, we got to wrap that up. We have got to wrap that up. Not because your story does not need to be told, not because your story is not important and your experience is not important, not because of that, because you're on a reality TV show and they're going to exploit the hell out of you. You coming here being vulnerable, they got you looking a plumb fool. Never offer up your true identity to reality TV. They are here to pervert you, and that is it. They're here to make money. They're not on reality TV for a reason, because they know what it is. But as soon as she start open her mouth, I say, here we go. Here we go. I also became immediately concerned when we heard about Emma's story because throughout the episodes, for me, it just felt like she didn't need a husband, she needed a therapist. Emma is really suffering with her identity, not knowing who she is, not knowing where she comes from. She also has a scar on her body from melanoma as a child. She is also dealing with being a Asian face in a white space, not just within her family, within her community, within her school, and desirability and feeling like she is not very beautiful and not chosen. And she just has a lot to work through before she becomes anybody's partner or mother, if that is what she chooses to do. Love is Blind was not the space for her, in my opinion. So she's, first of all, when Emma starts out, she's the belle of the ball. Like, all the guys are talking to her, but there is some apprehension because the men want to know what she looks like. And that is the problem, Love is Blind. You keep on casting these men that are not ready. And here's the thing. If you cannot find men for this show, that means the show is over and it's ran its course. Because at this point, you're just taking anybody. These men were pressing so hard to find out what Emma looks like because the men on this show continue to prove that love is not blind. And Emma immediately goes to her culture. She doesn't say, oh, I have dark hair, I have dimples, I have tan skin. She doesn't say anything about that. Her immediate fear is these men finding out that she's Asian and not choosing her. Girl, no. That was her fear. So the guys were trying to get a grasp of how she looked because love is not blind for the men on this show. And she immediately went to her culture and didn't want to tell the men that, and started to become a little closed off when they would ever ask any questions like that. I will say, I did like how she stood up for herself because I was not expecting her to dump that, I forget his name, the real weird swarmy guy that looks like a lawyer. He was in a tan blue suit. He was very aggressive. And especially when he was trying to ask her about losing her virginity or whatever, and she didn't feel comfortable with that and he didn't want to hear her. I don't think his questioning was wrong. I think it's the fact that he didn't listen to her. And she didn't like that. So I was actually very proud of her for moving away from him and deciding, you know what, me and you are not going to work because you're not listening to me. And I felt like because she started off so desperate, I thought that she was going to accept anything. But the fact that she walked away from that guy who would have went along in the process with her, I thought that was really big of her. Let's get into, in this episode, we also meet Vic. Something's up. Something's up. Something's up. Now, I'm a Black American woman. I could be reading this man wrong. He is Grenadian. If there's any Grenadian women in the chat, please let me know. Something's up. Something's up. And the fact that this show is not giving us much of a backstory, something's up. I don't know what it is. Something's up. Something's up. We will see. But I'm just like, the way this show is focusing on his relationship, something's up. Anyway, so we meet Vic. He is talking to Christine. They immediately start trauma bonding. We know how them trauma bonding relationships go. And I don't know if they talked about more, but all we've heard them talk about is trauma and religion. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. They probably talked about more, y'all, but all the show focused on was them trauma bonding and ending their pods with prayer. Here's the thing I want to say to women. This ain't the time to be religious with these men. This is not the time to lead with religion, especially because, unfortunately for us, a lot of our men have been red-pilled, right? So when you lead with the fact that you are a faith-based woman, they think that's immediate end, right? That is immediate end for a woman that can be easily enslaved. You cannot lead with that. And when she kept on choosing to pray with him or leading out in prayer in the pods, I was like, I wouldn't do that just yet, sister. I wouldn't do that just yet, because a lot of men are excited and desire a woman who is a part of a religion, especially the Christian faith, because a lot of times in Christianity, especially American Christianity, because we are only taught in America white supremacist evangelical Christianity, those women are enslaved. So when you lead out with that, especially with a man that you don't know just yet, the wrong man could get excited by that, because in his mind he thinks easily played with and easily enslaved. So when she started leading out with that and with the trauma, I got a little concerned, Christine. I hope that you guys are the fairy tale of the season. I don't. My gut is telling me something else. And if anything, it's because of the way that they are editing y'all. Something is. I could be wrong, but something is up. Only time will tell. But him and Christine, on all of their pods, it's really, just them talking about the traumas that they are having, and they are both each, um, being there for each other, which is absolutely beautiful. But we did not see them discuss anything else. So I'm just like, if that is the core of their relationship, getting out of the pods and going into the real world is going to be a huge issue for this couple, especially with this being a coupling of a black man and a white woman in today's environment. This was only filmed a year ago. Hello. Hello. Y'all know where we were at around that time. So I don't know if the reality of the world and where they both stand in this nation is going to be able to survive. I think that fairy tales just may die outside of the pods, but who knows? Because there was not a lot of them in the trailer. My God, today. Let's move on to episode 2. Remember that MAGA lady, like she was like 43 or something like that? That was the one, I believe, that got the eye glue, the nail glue stuck in her eye. I'm thinking about nail glue and eye drops. Do they look the same? My God, today. Anyway, Vic and Christine in episode 1. This is another thing that concerned me about Vic and Christine. In episode 1, they meet, they trauma bond, they get engaged. You know how them relationships work when they get engaged, episode 1. So you mean to tell me either Vic and Christine were so boring or so great together, such a match, that you guys felt that there was no tea or nothing interesting, so y'all put them in the first episode? Because remember, we saw Vic and Christine in the first episode. We didn't see them again until the second episode when they met, and that was it. So either they are so perfect, there's nothing to cover. They're so perfect that they're so boring, there's nothing to cover. Or we are missing a lot, and this show is purposely misleading us to gag us when the next episodes drop. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But Vic and Christine, they get engaged. The engagement, it reminds me of that episode of the last season where you had the truck driver and the Brazilian babe. They didn't talk about anything. And I was just like, maybe the show wasn't showing us anything about this couple, because we didn't see them connect. We really didn't see them bond. And then they got engaged. And then when they got out of the pods, all of a sudden their relationship starts to fall apart, and they don't really know each other. And I'm just like, is this the same thing happening? Because it seems so similar. Like, we didn't really get a lot of them. We got them praying in the pods. Christine leading out with that. Stick a pin in that. I'm not team Vic and Christine, because I can't. It's something about Vic I don't know yet. I'm team Christine. Here is why. And maybe I interpreted this wrong. Y'all let me know. When she was talking to Vic, it was obvious. It was obvious that the both of them knew that that Christine was white and he was black. It was obvious that they've had some kind of conversation, or they could just tell by the voices, right? Christine said to him, "Do you date like women who don't look like the women in your culture?" He said, "Yeah, I've dated, I lived in New York, so I've dated everything. I've dated all kinds of women." And she said, "Oh, that's great. But is that like it? Because I don't want to be with somebody who only dates a certain kind of woman and that's it." I felt like she was saying, "I know you're black. I am a white woman. I don't want to be with a black man that only dates white women." That's what I felt like she was saying, but kind of couldn't say it because, how the show operates. That's what I was getting from that conversation. What did you guys get from that conversation? Because when she said that, I said, "You're all right with me, white woman." You're all right with me. And your future black kids, they're safe. They're going to be in good hands, because for her to know that and understand that dynamic, I thought was huge. So I was just like, I'm gonna rock with you on this one. That's why I'm a little weary on locks, but we will see. So they meet for the first time after the lackluster proposal. Maybe this is just a great love story and they're not giving us anything because there's nothing to get. Oh, hopefully that's it. So they meet for the first time. Right off grip, they're a hot couple. Those two together look good. And the sexual chemistry is there because they both like what they see. So they're taking each other in and they're hugging and they're kissing and they're taking each other in. Maybe Vic is just a chill guy. But he was just, hey, I was like, "This your wife." Christine was excited. I felt like if Christine could have jumped in his arms, she would have, but he's just so chill. And maybe that's his demeanor. I got a problem with this, with all the men on this show. The men on this show are too chill for me. And when men on Love is Blind is chill, that's because they're here for a moment. They're here for this show. They're not really invested. And we've seen this so many times. The men on Love is Blind is too freaking chill for me. Like, where is the excitement? This is somebody who you are about to pledge your life to and create human beings with. Take it in, look at, but Vic has been so like one note throughout this entire process. Maybe that's just his personality, but all the men are like that. So that gives me pause. But they meet, they are a gorgeous couple, and that's just it. I'm concerned. I am absolutely concerned. But they're hot. They are a good looking couple. But I got my apprehensions. We will wait for the rest of the episodes to see. Also, in this episode, we find out why Emma doesn't want kids. It's because she's adopted. She doesn't know who her parents are. She has the scar from melanoma. She's very concerned about that because with having children, it's going to be a surprise for her. She's just like, I don't know what is in my bloodline. So that would be a huge risk. And I went through a lot with getting my scar removed, my birthmark removed, and it's just a really scary process. So I will say this about Emma. I like that she was open and honest about that with the men. I did not like how the men were trying to convince her to have children. First of all, they're all lying when they're just like, "Oh, that's cool if you don't want kids. That's cool." And then the next pod meeting, they're just like, "Are you sure that you don't want kids? Because I don't know if I want to be okay with that." Why did you tell her that you were okay if you weren't really okay with that? And then when she still pushes back and is just like, "I have apprehensions about that," they are still trying to convince her, because the next thing, all the men that she's talking to would say, "Well, you'll be a good mom." She didn't say that she wouldn't be a good mom. She's saying that she has apprehensions because she doesn't know what's in her bloodline. The men don't listen to Emma. They do not listen to her. And I don't know if it's because her voice is just she just comes off very quaint for some reason, that easily bulldozed, but she's speaking. They are not listening, and they are constantly convincing her to carry their child. But none of these men are selling themselves as great fathers. It's the craziest thing how they want to get somebody pregnant and have a kid right away. But y'all aren't selling yourselves as fathers. Y'all are just saying you want to have a legacy, but what would the legacy be? You just want to knock her up, and then what? They're not selling themselves as husbands. They're not selling themselves as great fathers. Wrap this show up. At this point, it's becoming a nightmare for women. At this point. Also, with Emma being adopted, I do have some concerns. Not with her being adopted, but with her being adopted and not getting the proper therapy that she needs. Because when normally, some not normally, sometimes, and I've experienced this with a friend who was adopted, they seek validation and acceptance from everyone. And to the wrong people, that person could be easily taken advantage of. That's why this woman desperately needs to get the help that she needs, because she would be easy bait for the worst people. The worst people. So that concerns me as well, because it's also something that she's just not healed from. She's not okay with being adopted. She's not okay with not knowing her family or her history or her culture. Like, she yearns for these things because she looks a certain way. So it's expected for her to show up a certain way, but she can't do that because of how she was raised. And now I got beef with her parents, because how dare you adopt an Asian child and raise her in your culture and around people who only look like you? How dare you traumatize her this way? I hope y'all are watching this and realizing you've made a grave mistake in how you have raised this young lady. I hope there's great regret on your part. Child, let's just get into it. So we meet Kavan. He is in a love triangle with Tyler and Kia. Only on Love is Blind could this happen. Kavan, right off bat, doesn't know what he wants. And it causes so much confusion and insecurities with, especially Tyler, but with Tyler and Kia. It's just like, what do you want? What is actually going on here? Because, and Kavan, I got to give it to you, because you come off as such a sweet guy. It was, especially for me, hard to really call you out on your mess, but I just had to do it. Like, yes, he is a sweet guy. I also think he's working with a little something. I think something's going on there. I think something's going on there. And that's probably why he's misinterpreting so many things and missing so many signals. But he is a nice guy, but dragging these two women along, telling them the same thing and not really knowing what you want is not nice guy behavior, right? You're a sweetie. We get it. You're a nice guy. Everybody tells you that you're a nice guy. But Tyler, who has been consistent with saying, what's happening here? Like, what do you want? Like, she's in these pods fighting for this man to give her something. And he gives her a little ball. He gives Kia nothing. And they are both still like just waiting for him to choose them. One of them. My God, today. My God, today. And because he constantly goes back and forth between the both of them, he is creating confusion. And although I like him, I'm getting annoyed. Let's move on. We get a proposal out of nowhere, in my opinion, by Jordan to Amber and her block heels. I I don't know where this happened. Like, The editing on this season is so disjointed because Amber and Jordan for me came out of nowhere. I said, well, how does what did I needed more? It came out of nowhere, but these two are engaged. Amber and Jordan. Congrats. I don't know how we got here. The proposal was so uneventful. Amber was just like, oh my God, yes, I accept your proposal. What did y'all talk about to get y'all to this point? Love is Blind. I think it's over. Wrap this up. Wrap this up. You know what shocked me? The Desi baddie, Priyanka. How was she not? What happened? I would have swore that she would have had three of them on her. Priyanka, please tell us at the reunion what was going on with you. Because I just could not believe she left there with nobody. Or we didn't see it. I will say this, and this is such a mirror into society. A lot of these reality TV shows are. But as soon as the girls come in and announce an engagement, all of a sudden it puts the fire under the women. And all of a sudden they're ready to be chosen. As soon as one of the girls walk through and it's just like, I'm engaged. All of a sudden the women are just like, they perk up and they're just like, okay, I got to get in there and I got to get him to make a decision. And isn't that society? Isn't that just like society? You could be a woman enjoying your life. And then all of a sudden, the women in your community, the women at your job, the women at your school, the women at your church, all start getting married or engaged. And all of a sudden, you're just like, oh, I got to go get me a husband too. You never even thought about it. But all of a sudden, when it starts happening, when other people start making these decisions, you are all of a sudden in a race against time. You don't even want that yet. But because it's happening to people who you are in community with and who you are the same age as, you think, oh, I'm missing out on something or I'm not doing something right. Let me get in alignment with their destiny and make that decision for myself. Some of you are not wives. Some of you are not moms. Some of you are, the fly auntie that travels and has lovers all across the globe. Some of you are a mother in an aspect of you impart wisdom into the younger generation. That's how you mother them. I think the children in some of your lives, you're not pulling them out of your vagina, right? You're going to meet them as adults. Or you're going to inspire them just by being in your presence. There is always, especially for me, there's one aunt that I have. Well, I'm so inspired by her. She has mothered me in so many ways. She's not my mom, but ever since I was a child, I've gleaned from her. She's mothered me in that way. But a lot of times, oftentimes, especially with women, we get into this space when it starts happening for everybody else. We realize we're supposed to do that. And the next thing you know, you're married, you're in this marriage with these kids, and you're not happy because that's not what you wanted to do. That's not what was for you or destined for you. But you ran after that because that is what everybody else was doing. And you can see it happening right here. There are a lot of women in there who didn't want to match with these men, who didn't want to, that these guys, a lot of people, these guys aren't their number ones or their number twos. But somebody ran in there and said, I'm engaged. Now they're just like, I got to get engaged too. And so they're going to try to make it work with one of them guys in the pots when they should have just left. When you should have, Emma, when you should have just left the process, you pulled through it because homegirl got engaged. And you're just like, if she got a husband, it happens all the time. But that is how this show in a way mirrors society, because that is what happens so many times. So next we get Kevin again in his indecisiveness. I want to say much prop to Tyler, right? There were times when I felt like she was doing too much. That's why you just got to keep on watching, because I'm like, oh, you're not doing enough. Because had it been me, I would have broke through that screen in the pods and I would have jumped that man. Because Kevon is telling Tyler one thing, he's telling Kia the same thing. I will say he started off with just really being on Tyler. Then Kia came into the picture and he piped it down a little bit, gave attention to Kia, but he was still telling Tyler everything that she wanted to hear. And Tyler is realizing that her and Kia are talking to the same guy. And she's also realizing he's telling them both the same thing. So she's just like, now wait a damn minute. We're gonna have to make a decision. So she goes into the pods talking to Kevon, and she's at this point expecting some kind of proposal, and he immediately switches up on her. And she's like, wait a minute, why are we pumping the brakes now? Because me and you were in a really good place, and now you're pumping the brakes. What's going on? And now she's starting to think about Kia, and she's just like, I never had to think about that before. You never made me feel that way. Now you're making me feel insecure. And Kevon is just like, oh gosh, I don't want to do that to you. But you are, Kevon. I know you don't want to do it, baby, but you're doing it. So what? Let's not do it. Let's not play innocent here. She's telling you how you're making her feel, and all you're saying is, I don't want to do it, but you still do it. He's trying to make her crazy. He's trying to make her crazy, but Tyler is picking up on everything. So because she feels like she's being played, she takes herself out of the show. Because the Kevon, I gotta give it to you. I gotta be honest. The way you were talking to her, you were sounding like you were breaking up with her for Kia, and she started getting confused. You're telling her that she's a great girl. She's just like, I know I'm great. What are we talking about? Am I your wife? Like, just say it. Like, what is happening here? Because don't introduce an intimacy to her that you can't maintain. Now you switch up on her. Now you're talking to her like you're about to break up. She gets up and she's just like, what is happening? And Kevon still can't express what is happening. She doesn't want that in her husband. She wants her husband to be able to express what is happening and to also maintain the same energy that he approached her with. Kevon couldn't do that. So Tyler said, I'm good on this show and on you. She leaves. And the producers talk her back into going there because Kevon hasn't left the pods. He actually does want to be with Tyler. He wants to make it work with her. He's just not telling her. The producers convince her to go back, and because the producers say to her, well, didn't you say that's your problem why you're always leaving? And she's saying, yes, that is, but I know what I want. And the producer's just like, well, why don't you hear him out? Because he's still there. So she's like, that man is not going to want to talk to me. And they're like, he does. He's still in there. So, go back. So Tyler made this whole big stink. She hugged all the girls, told them she was leaving, sat down for her exit confessional. Then she had to go back in and tell the girls, I'm back in the game. They were like, girl, why? She was like, yeah, I moved too soon. I'm back in the game. She also told Kia that Kevon was a great guy. And Kia was just like, girl, I know what I signed up for. Thank you. Kia said, I'm here for a reason. We'll get into her. She said, I'm here for a reason. So you can go ahead on with all of them emotions. Girl, bye. I know what I signed up for. So she ends up going back and talking to Tyler. And Tyler's just like, I'm glad you didn't go. I really, really like you, Tyler. Girl, you're better than me. I would have cussed that man out. Because Kevon, even if he doesn't want to do that, he's playing. He's playing a game. And Tyler is picking it up immediately, and she does not like it. He's being indecisive to a fault. And listen, I'm gonna give it to Kevon, right? You do approach you. This is a really accelerated process, so you have to approach it with some indecisiveness because this is a huge decision, right? So you got to be clear on what you want to do. But when a woman asks for clarity, you got to give it to her. You can't give her clarity, then pull back the clarity, give clarity to another woman, And then when you meet with the woman you gave clarity to, you pull back, she asks the question, you can't answer. There's absolutely going to be some frustration there because she is just like, what is happening? And you can't name it. And you also have to realize you came on this show not just looking for a wife, you came on this show as a husband. So many men come on this show and do not know what a husband is and what are the responsibilities. Y'all just come in with your dingling in your hand and y'all are just like, oh, I'm ready to find a wife. You don't know what that entails. A lot of y'all don't have the mental capacity or the financial capacity for a wife or a family. You just think, oh, I'm a man. This is what is owed to me. No, you got to work for this. And this is a huge job. You are about to be head of a household. This ain't nothing to play with. I don't think they think about that. I think they think that they're just going to come on this show and find a sex slave and a maid and a breeder. They're not seeing these women as human. They're not seeing their responsibilities as realistic. And that is a huge problem, which is why I feel like this show just needs to wrap it up. You are not finding good men for these women. And you are just torturing them every freaking season. So while he brings Tyler back, he convinces this girl that not only is he going to be with her, he's going to pump the brakes on Kia. So Tyler feels comfortable now because she feels like she's been chosen by this guy. She had to have a little hissy fit and let him know what she wanted, but she feels like he's hearing her. He isn't. He is not. Episode 3. Amber and big boy Jordan meet. How did y'all feel about their meeting? Because I'm just like, do y'all like each other? I don't know. This was a confused meeting to me. Like they acted like they were attracted to each other. But I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. Y'all let me, child. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Then out of nowhere, and this let me know, bye Amber and your Block Hills. This let me know that we were going to lose a couple. And the reason why I knew that is because out of nowhere, we get Devo and Brittany. Out of nowhere, they just start covering this couple. And I'm like, they're covering them because we're about to lose a couple. I didn't know who, but I knew we were going to lose a couple because we have been talking about every other couple. Then out of nowhere, we get introduced to Brittany and Devo. What's going on with him? I don't want to put on him what I see because I don't think that's fair. I don't know his history. But Devo, Zavante, it's giving white man. And I'm like, Devontae, what do you see in the mirror? I feel like he looks in the mirror and he sees Paul Newman. He doesn't know that he gives color. It's like, hello, Harry Belafonte. It never gave white. It never gave white. But he is like leading out like he's this white. It's so crazy to watch. Because I'm like, does he see what we see? What in the Sammy Sosa? Anyway, we get Devo, Zavante. I should have known. Because your name is Devontae and you're going to shorten to Devo. Child, we should have known. Him and Brittany all of a sudden start hitting it off. They haven't introduced these people at all, but then all of a sudden they got a full-blown love story. And I'm like, we're losing a couple. We're losing a couple. They also are not talking about culture, but I think they can hear in each other's voices that something is happening here. But I think Brittany imagined Devo to be a little swirly. So, she imagined him not to be white. I don't think that Devo thought the same thing about Brittany. But we'll see, child. We will see. But they're cute. I will say it was a little concerning because I'm just like, they're just having fun. what else do we need to know about them? But I also think that they weren't covering them because they thought that they were going to have specific couples. And then when they realized they lost a couple, they started focusing on them. So I don't think they got the meat and potatoes of this relationship. Then Devo Devontae lets us know that his grandfather passed away, and his family called. And instead of leaving, he stayed in the pods because he's just like, I think my grandfather will want me to find my wife. I'm sorry, I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. Your granddad, the patriarch of your freaking family, died. That is a huge loss, especially if you were close with your pop. That is you should have been there. I don't care if your family told you it was okay. I don't care if your mom said it was fine. She's not in her right mom. She's not in her right mind. Her dad died. She don't know what the hell was going on. You should have left to go lay Pop to rest and come back. What, you gonna be gone 2 days? How is that going to affect anything? The show just started covering Britney, and it didn't seem like she had any other options. Go lay Pop to rest and come back if that's what you want to do. That was the dumbest thing ever, and I feel like him not leaving to go lay his Pop to rest is the reason why he's flipping out the way he is. But we will get into that later. We got Tyler. Chris. So we have Chris, who is in a love triangle with Bree and Jess. I don't know how him and Bree made sense. Bree doesn't give me lesbian, but Bree gives me forever tomboy. And I don't know how her and Chris ever hit it off. Like, I felt like she eats men like Chris for breakfast. Like, she is a man eater. I just did not know how they were in any kind of a love triangle. It just did not make sense. Even when they were talking in the pods, I was just like, ugh. Y'all think this is chemistry? I didn't see it at all. I felt like Jess was more his speed. And he was kind of trying to do the same thing that Kavan was doing with being indecisive about not knowing what he wanted. But that didn't convince me. I was like, you need a Jess, not a Brie. I think you know what you want. I think you're stroking your ego by being happy with the fact that two women are vying for you. But you know who the right one is for you, Chris. You're a smart guy. You're telling one woman that she's your number one, but then you're still courting another woman. I think he was just stroking his ego. I don't think he ever has really seen it for Jess. Then this episode, we also start to dive a bit into Alex and Ashley. This couple is just sex. All these two wanted to do on this show is have sex. Like, Jess, she keeps on talking about, the physical connection. She talks to Alex, and every time she talks to Alex, she lets us know that the coochie is moist. Alex is making her vaginal walls flutter. Like, that's just it. These two really don't have much going on besides sexual chemistry, and we know. I will say, I knew the fact that all they had was sexual chemistry was going to be bad for them. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. We will get into it. My God, today. Anyway, these two end up hitting it off, and they end up getting engaged. The engagement was lackluster. I never believed in this relationship because these two were just about sex. They were just about sex. I didn't think that it was going to go the distance. They end up getting engaged to this very lackluster proposal. Then they also meet. And right before they meet, I knew he was a douchebag. I didn't know that it was this bad. Alex is terrible. Alex is a terrible person. My God, today. Right before he meets Ashley, he starts talking about how he's an ex-professional athlete and he hangs around with professional athletes, and he starts talking about how women see the professional athlete life online and they think it's fun and they want to be a part of it, but then they don't realize that later when they turn 35 and they don't look the same, that professional athlete is going to leave them. What the hell are you talking? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, but even if I see her and I don't like what she looks like, I'm still going to marry her. What? What Alex just let us know is that as soon as his woman has a baby and if she don't bounce back, he's dumping her. He let whatever woman ends up with him know in that moment, because it won't be Ashley. In that moment, he lets you know, if you are not a size 2 after pushing a human out of your vagina, he's leaving. Oh my God. I was just like, oh. And here's another thing. And I hate to be right about this, but I was just like, when we were reading his bio and then we went to his Instagram, it was all about soccer. I was just like, man, the fact that he didn't retire, his body retired him, that man resents it. He wants to be that professional athlete that has like the women all over him, all of these choices, a main chick at home, and women that he can just dib and dab his dingling in, and drop a kid over here, drop a kid over here, but he don't care because he got so much money to take care of them. He wants to be a terrible guy with a lot of money. And because his body took him out the game, he is so angry about that. And the only person that is going to receive that anger is the woman he chooses. My God, today. He is about to do so much work on Ashley's her mental health and her self-esteem is about to tank when this man unleashes on her. My God, today. I also want to say this. This show is absolutely responsible for what's about to happen to Ashley. And the reason why I say this is because we get this whole conversation, this whole revelation from Alex right before he meets Ashley, and he's talking about, the woman, she turns 35 and her body, and she doesn't look the same. The athlete leaves and all this stuff, just letting us know what he plans on doing. He's been talking like this. The show did not show us that because they wanted to gag us in this moment. He has probably said worse things to the men, worse things to Ashley. She don't care. She just wants to bang him. She is the typical woman that a man like that would choose. Typical woman who is easy to, put in that trad wife box, pump her full of kids, get her to preserve an image for him while he runs them streets and does whatever he wants to do. I know he said worse. They protected him because they wanted us to have this moment where they reveal, oh, this is who Alex really, really is. I would never give my body or my image over to a reality TV show. My God, today. We about to see that woman go through it. And I'm telling you, if she goes through, I don't think she's going to, but if she decides to marry this man, that first baby is going to be a deciding factor. And if she doesn't have an eating disorder, he's leaving. My God, today. They meet. Of course, it's sexual chemistry. That's all they've had. That's all they've talked about. They're kissing and rubbing on each other. He's allegedly likes what he sees. And, that's a wrap. They want to jump each other's bones. We understand it. Then we move on to episode 4. Bree and Chris, they finally meet. Is it Bree and Chris? Bree and Connor. I'm sorry. Bree and Connor, they finally meet. So Bree, Connor, and Emma was in a love triangle, but Connor was just like, "Listen, Emma, I'm feeling Bree more." I'm not white, right? Is this white culture? The way these two were talking to each other, like this whole bro thing, does that work for y'all? I was so confused. Like he talks about her like he don't like her. Oh, he talks about her like he does not like her. But she eats that up. He's like, "Oh, Bree, Bree's a lot. Your wife?" They do this like big sister kid bro thing where they like they take jabs at each other. And I'm like, is this love? Is this white culture? What is going on here? Because to me, that doesn't seem healthy. But these two are eating it up. Maybe I'm missing something. Y'all let me know. But it's so weird the way they talk about each other, especially the way he talk about him. I'm like, he doesn't like her. Right? Anyway, I missed their whole lackluster engagement, but they get engaged, and then they finally no, this is too early. I'm sorry. Bree and Chris. That's what I want to talk about. Thank you, Lord. Bree and Chris call it quits. Here's the thing, that Chris seemed like a good guy all the way up until this moment. Because when Bree and Chris finally realize these two are not working, Chris starts to try to one up her in finding out that he didn't want to be with her, because Bree's just like, I feel like I have something more with Connor. And he's just like, oh, I felt the same way too. I knew too. And she was like, yeah, I kind of knew when we last talked. And he was like, oh, I knew before we last talked. So it's like he wants to one up her and be like, I didn't want you before you didn't want me. And I was like, ooh, ego, Chris. That's a problem. Check it. So then we get the love triangle. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Then we get the love triangle between Emma, Bree, and Connor. But Connor sits down with Emma, and he's just like, because Emma's just like, what's going on? I'm feeling like a little pull. And he's just like, listen, I got something more going on with Bree. And then, they decide to choose each other. Bree and Connor decide to choose each other. And then they go into the whole like big sister, little bro banter, which is just very weird. I don't know how either one of them finds that attractive, but Bree gives that, she drinks from a keg and then crushes cans of beer on her forehead. And I think for Connor, that would be attractive for a while. I don't think that can maintain a marriage. Bree, you got to get out of college. You have got to get out of college. So anyway, Bree and Connor and Chris and Jess, they all end up getting engaged. The editing of the show was so weird, right? Because you see couples still in the pods giving advice to other couples that are engaged and off the show. Like Christine and Vic are throughout all of the episodes, but they got engaged and they're out of the pods on the first episode. But the show is like also still giving us little, bits of their relationship. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are y'all showing Christine and Vic talking about each other if they've already been engaged and seen each other? The editing is so off. So then now we're at the stage where everybody gets their partner a gift. So Kia gets Kevon a watch. I'm on to you, Kia. I'll give my thoughts about her at the end. She gives Kevon a watch, and I'm like, oh, you're really going after Kevon. And I was like, why are you going so hard with Kevon? I'm sorry, this is like sticking up. And I'm like, why is it doing that? Why are you going so hard with Kevon now that you know that it's a tug and pull between you and Tyler? That gave me pause. But we will all, it comes full circle at the end. So she gives him a watch and reminds her of her father. He gives her a basketball. She ate that up. She runs in the room and tells the girls that he gave her a basketball. That just roused Tyler up. And the reason why I brought that up is because I just was just like, the way Kia is acting, I feel like her actions in these next two episodes were producer prodding. I think that Kia was a plant. I think she was a producer plant. She does not give me that she was really invested in anything but camera time. So anyway, this riles up Tyler. She runs in there to go talk to Kevon and is just like, what's going on? Kevon again can't really give her a full answer on anything because he's so confused. He goes back and forth. Tyler is getting very emotional with him. Then Kevon goes into one of his mini speeches. And at this point, I'm getting more annoyed than Tyler because I'm just like, she is asking you for clarity. Clarity that you gave her and then pulled back. Because Tyler is also being frustrated with Kevon. Let me bring them all up. She's frustrated with Kevon because he told her a while ago that he was ending things with Kia. Kia's still here. So that's showing her that he didn't do it. And he told her he would. So she's running in there. She runs in to talk to him. And she's like, dude, what's going on? Like, I'm feeling crazy. Like, what is happening? And Kevon never has an answer. He just has a speech. He thinks he's MLK. And Tyler is just so frustrated by that. She decides that she gotta like step back from him. Comes back, she questions him about Kia again, and she's like, listen, I need you to let me know what this is. Like, what is actually happening here and what is going on with her. He finally says, oh, I want you, Tyler. Tyler's like, huh? He's like, no, I want you. You are my girlfriend. I want you to be my girlfriend. Tyler's like, I'm your girlfriend. Like, I was so confused. Tyler was so confused, but Tyler wanted to be chosen so bad by this man. She accepted it. And now I'm annoyed with Tyler because I'm just like, don't accept this from him because he's breadcrumbing you. This man is indecisive. He is breadcrumbing you, but Tyler eats this up from Kevon. And she takes it because I think it's just the validation that she wanted, but she's still so frustrated by him, and she grills him again about Kia, even after he said that he would choose her. So the whole time he's telling her, I choose you, I want you, but she's feeling like something is off, and she gets so annoyed with him. And I think at this point she leaves again, and Kevon is just, he's defeated. But I'm like, you wouldn't be defeated if you were just honest about your emotions. So the multiracials, they get engaged out of nowhere. I don't know how we got here. The engagement is lackluster, but these two are engaged. Then we have Jess and Chris. They meet for the first time. They seem really giddy, really happy. Chris proposes again. They seem okay. I'm not convinced, but these two seem okay at the moment. So now that Emma is without a man, she's now trying to make it work with Mike. Here's the issue. Emma likes Connor. She does not like Mike. Emma, like Tyler, wants to be chosen. So she decides, or the women convince her to stay in the process and go talk to Mike. But Emma wants Connor. Here's the thing. Connor's not a good guy for her because he is the kind of guy who acts like, I don't know if you do, Connor, but acts like he doesn't like women, right? Would probably be more kinder to men and mistreat women, but that's his norm because women accept that. Emma would accept that from him because I think she's used to white men treating her like that, and she's convinced herself that that's normal because she's Asian. So she likes a guy like Tyler busting her chops and not really choosing her because that is something she's endured since high school. Like, remember when she had that conversation with that swarmy guy? And she was just like, I don't want to talk about high school because I wasn't really chosen. Nobody really liked me. And in college, it appears as if she had sex with somebody she really didn't want to do that with, but she just was so desperate to be chosen by a white man. So with a guy like Connor, he's not good for her. But I think that's the kind of white man she is used to being in a relationship with. And I don't think anybody has taught her that that's not the kind of love, that's not love, and that's not what she should be seeking. So she's still really wrapped up in Connor, but she settles for Mike, who is interested in her and has been interested in her since the beginning. So now she's trying to make it work with Mike, but I see sabotage happening with Emma because I don't think she wants Mike. I think she was convinced to stay in this process and she didn't want to leave this process single. So she is trying to make it work with him, but she don't really want this man. And I don't think Mike knows it yet, but I feel like in the next episodes, he will figure it out. Um, because I'm just like, how all of a sudden are you locked in on Mike and you were about to walk out when Connor decided he wanted to be with Bree? This ain't your first or second choice. Um, Moving on to episode 5. So Kevon finally makes a decision. After Tyler said, listen, I'm not going to come here and, still be in this pause with somebody who doesn't know what he wants. Like, you have to figure it out and you have to make a decision. So Kevon decides that he is ready to make a decision. He is ready to propose to Tyler. He walks in the pod ready to propose to Tyler, and Tyler is not there. So he goes back in the room with the other men, and he's like, "She's not there, dog. She's not there." And he's moping around, and the men are comforting him. While he's doing that, we see Tyler being like, "I got to choose myself. I can't do this. Like, he doesn't know what he wants." That's not a good look for a husband, Kevon. A husband that can't make a decision. You're proving to her you can't lead. You're proving to her that you are double minded, and a double minded man is unstable in all of his ways. You are shaky ground. She can't trust you. She can't depend on you. So she left. Great decision. I think that was the smartest thing to do. I'd rather her choose herself than have black love on this show. So I'm so glad that Tyler made the best decision for her. And she was just like, listen, I can't be with a man like that. I know my worth. I know what I want. That ain't it. And as much as she tried to make it work, she had to be realistic and be like, he is not it. And I got to be honest with you, Tyler, I think you did yourself a big favor because I don't think that Tyler would have been attracted to Kevon. I think they wouldn't have made it to the altar. And not saying that Kevon is unattractive. I don't think he's her type. So Kevon is moping and he doesn't know what to do. The men convince him that Kia's still here. So why not try Kia? I don't know why these people on this show think that your relationship is going to work when you suddenly focus on marrying someone who you were not locked in with ever. It only worked for one couple. And I can't believe that baddie went back to him, but it is what it is. But I just when your partner sees this back, I don't know. I just don't know how these people are able to be convinced to go after somebody they were not interested in or that they did not want. You were ready to propose to somebody else. But they left, so you're just like, well, let me try this person. Listen, it is what it is. And that's why I think because this didn't work out, I think that's why the show started. I think this is the couple. I think that's why the show started to cover Devo and Brittany because early on in the process, Tyler and Kevon fizzled. And I think they were just like that. I think that was the hero couple. And when that didn't work out, they went over to Brittany and Devontae. Emma and Mike get engaged. Very uneventful, right? Here's why. She don't want him. She don't need a husband. She needs therapy. He wants her. We're going to see him get his heart broken. Emma don't want this man. Emma does not want this man. So Kevon, now that Tyler left, the men convinced him, well, Kia's here. And then he convinces himself, well, Tyler was forcing me to propose to her, and you want to be somebody's husband. You can be forced to propose to a woman, and you want to lead a household? The devil is a liar. So he convinces himself that because Tyler forced him, he actually really wanted Kia. So he goes over to Kia. He's about to propose to Kia. The same guy that was about to propose to Tyler did propose to her because Tyler left. Now he's going to propose to Kia. He gets in the pods with Kia and tells her she's a great person. And Kia says, before you do all that, let's have a conversation. Kia says, I want to tell you, you've been talking to me a lot. I want to tell you how I feel. And she says, I think you're a great guy. Thank you for telling me I'm a great woman. I think you're a great guy. You are not ready to be anybody's husband. Girl, the way I almost fell off my bed, I said, wait a minute, Kia, what's going on? Because Kia was acting like she really wanted that. Like Kia was fighting for Kevon. She was fighting for him. And then she's just like, you're not ready to be anybody's husband. You can't make a decision. So how can you be a husband? You wanted Tyler, you wanted me. You don't know what you want. You're not ready to be a husband. You're not ready for this process. I think you need to leave this process and figure out what kind of man you want to be before you decide to be somebody's husband. The way she read that man, I said, Kia, who is this? Who is this? And she says, I know what I want and I know what I need. And it is not you. I'm choosing myself. Good luck, Kevon. She leaves. She goes into the room. She walks in the room excited. And the girls are like, oh my God, engaged. She said, no, B, I chose myself. And they all start cheering. And she has this whole exit speech and she walks out. And I said, Kia, gotcha. I knew it. Kia was so, I could not place my finger on Kia because I couldn't quite call her because at one point she's being cold to Tyler and being like, girl, I knew what I signed up for. I don't need this from you. You know what it is. You're playing the victim. And I'm like, Kia, what's going on? Then in the next episode, she's like telling Kia that she loves her and they're acting like they're sisters. And I'm like, what's going on? Then now the dude that she was fighting for, she tells him, you ain't ready to be nobody's husband. I agree with everything that she says. And then she says, I'm choosing myself. She has this grand exit speech. And all of a sudden, she's the belle of the ball. And I said, Kia didn't come on this show for no husband. Kia came on the show to find her audience. Kia came on this show for exposure. And to that I say, job well done, sis. Job well done. She lasted long enough for her to be in several episodes, for us to get to see her, for her to be in this love. She wanted to be in this love triangle. This was her storyline. This was her way of staying on the show. But she knew she wasn't getting married, especially to no Kevon. She didn't want that. She just wanted the exposure because now she's a girl boss. She left here saying, I chose myself. You know how many women are going to eat that up? You know how many women are going to flock to her and want to hear what she has to say and want to be led by this woman? Genius. This is absolutely how you are supposed to do reality TV. She came in with her character. She built her plot and her storyline. And she left the hero of her own story. Genius. Genius. I applaud you, Kia. Job well done. That switch up was crazy, but you ate that up. You ate that up. So no more black couples. The one we thought we were going to get one or two black is done. The blacks are out. The only person we can really root for is Christine because something is up with that dude. I don't know. I could be wrong, Vic. I hope I am. I hope that you guys are just a good, healthy couple. But something is up. The way they are editing you guys is making me nervous. I was absolutely floored by Kia, but my God, today was that good TV. Because Kevon was ready to get down on one knee, and Kia was like, "Get up, get up before you do all that. Before you go into your mini speeches, Kevon. I want to let you know you don't got to do all that. I'm out." So Emma and Mike meet for the first time. I don't think they have any chemistry, and I don't really think these two really like each other. Mike is a good stand-up guy. Emma's a good woman. I just think she needs therapy, and he needs to be with somebody who wants him, and also somebody he's attracted to. I don't necessarily think that he is into Emma, but I think he is going to want to make it work. I'm not saying that Emma isn't attractive, but no way should he marry the first non-white woman he's ever dated, because he says it. He said, "I've never dated anybody who wasn't white, who wasn't my culture." I don't know what this is, what kind of culture he is. He gives to me either Greek or Armenian. Anyway, he says he just never dated outside of his culture or race before, and Emma is the first. No, no, no. And Emma, you don't want to be his first. Mm-mm. No, get out of that right now. Get out of that right now. I don't see these two working. Um, their meeting was cute. I'm a little concerned. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So the next step is all the couples go on vacation. Do you guys know why? I think there's a great explanation for this, but they didn't tell us. Why did Vic and Christine go to Malibu? Is it because they had work requirements? Everybody else went to Cabo. These two went to Malibu. What's going on? Oh, are they felons? So they can't leave the country? But I thought their record was expunged. Let me know if you guys know why they couldn't join the rest of the couples. Anyway, the couples go on vacation to Cabo. My God, today. Where's the sex? The white people that only have sex. Do I have them up here? These two. They couldn't wait to tell us that they had sex. Oh God, they were like kids. It was so crazy. It was just like, oh, Mike is like, oh, Alex is like, oh, we had sex. We had sex all over the place. We might try the couch. And Ashley is like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, we did it everywhere. Okay. Like, what do y'all, what is that? Y'all weirdos. Y'all are weirdos. So everybody at this point has been physical in some kind of way, but these two couldn't wait to tell us where they did it and how many times they did it. Now the couples all meet. Bree was a little weird to me because Bree is just like, why is everybody acting like we weren't about to marry each other? I'll give her that, because Bree is like, everybody's just acting like, this is our prom. Like, the guy that I almost married, like, gave me a handshake. This is weird. And listen, girl, good for you for stating the obvious, but I just was like, I wouldn't go down that road because I don't think your partner is going to be okay with that. And that is exactly what happened. She expresses it to Connor, and Connor's just like, why do you care? Like, you act like you wanted Chris to want you. And she's like, no, that's not it. But I just felt like everybody was acting mirror. And I absolutely understand what she means, but the way you presented this conversation, I get why Connor was feeling some sort of way. It was a check of his ego, because he's feeling like, although you're engaged to him and about to marry him, you still want something to happen with somebody else. And I don't think that's what Bree was saying, but it's being delivered that way. Mike tells the men that his only issue with Emma is basically that Emma is dirty. Like, Emma dirty. And Mike don't like that. Mike is very, very clean, and he doesn't like the fact that Emma is dirty. So that's like his only issue. But that's good. That's good. We get to Connor, and it's like everybody starts laughing because it seems like he's already told the men how much he can't stand Bree. And I'm like, the way he talks about her, I don't think it's funny or endearing that he can't say any nice things about her. I think it's very, very weird. And I just do not see these two working. But again, this isn't my culture. So maybe this is normal in white culture. It's like a bro behavior thing. Maybe that's normal, but it's just I don't see that being healthy at all. She can't read the room, and he's acting like he don't like her. I'm like, the both of them act like all they do is like build forts in their living room and arm wrestle. They're such an odd coupling. I can't believe they found each other. So, color me surprised, Devontae is not featuring Brittany. So Brittany and Devontae meet, and they meet or whatever, and right off the bat, the physical chemistry is there, right? Like, Devontae is kissing her, and Brittany is like, when she meets with the girl, she tells them that everything is very hot and heavy. But then all of a sudden, Devontae pumps the brakes. Now, Brittany was telling Devontae, listen, I don't want to go that far, so let's take it a little slow. Devontae pumps the brakes on everything. Like, she's just like, I can't even find him. I wake up in the morning and I don't even see him. Like, I can't find him, and when I do find him, we are not connecting. And then Devontae starts talking. I'm sorry, Devontae. It was like a white man. Now listen, he could pull a Uno reverse on us and tell us at the reunion, well, I'm used to dating black women. I don't know if that's going to come out of his mouth, but the way he was talking about Brittany was just like, I don't really, basically saying that his type is not women of color. He's a nigga. Sorry, y'all. But I'm like, what are you doing? The way he talks, it's like, I don't think he sees what we see. I need to see what his parents look like. I feel like after I see his parents, I will have the full story. There's something going on there, and it's so freaking weird. The way he was talking about her was so odd, like he's not a colored himself. It's so weird. And this is why I cannot stand Love is Blind, because a baddie like Brittany is trying to figure out why Devontae, built like a Lego / Roblox, does not want her. In what world would this woman be vying for his attention? And Love is Blind world, this show is torture for women. This show is torture for women, because I cannot believe that she is trying. Like, she has gone so far where she's even taken her no sex rule off the table. And she's like, we can have sex so we can feel something. Like, I don't want you to think that that's not what I want to do. I'm attracted to you. I want to have sex with you. And he don't even want to do that. He's even telling the guys he just don't want to be bothered with her. Who the hell are you? This is so crazy. This is so crazy that this dude, Mr. Roblox himself, can look at Brittany and be like, I'm not feeling it. The bar is in hell. The bar is in hell. Speaking about the bar being in hell. We thought this man was was terrible before, this dude takes it up a notch. So while Brittany is feeling unloved and unappreciated by Devontae, Alex is talking to Devontae and the rest of the girls, and Devontae is letting the rest of the men, and Devontae is letting the guys know that he's not feeling her. For some reason, Alex thought that was an invitation. So Alex lets us know out of nowhere after he done banged Ashley in every corner of their hotel room. He lets us know she's not my type. I normally go for women with dark features. And I'm like, okay, what? That's supposed to be a wife. Why do we need to know that? Why does it matter? It matters because he pulls thickness aside, Brittany, and while he pulls her aside, we're getting his whole confessional where he's talking about she's his type. This Negro is engaged to somebody else, and he's like, she's his type. You know, dark features, tan skin. That's what he normally goes for. So he listened to Devontae say that he didn't want her, and Alex said, well, I do. So he pulls her to the side to have a little chat with her. I'm like, wait a minute, Alex. Alex said, to hell with the white beauty standard. I don't want no thin white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. I want a big booty Latina. He pulls Brittany to the side and he starts telling her how Ashley isn't his type, and he knows that Devontae Brittany is not his type, but Brittany is his type. And Brittany is like listening to him like she's hella confused because she thinks that this dude at first she thinks the conversation is Alex trying to help her with Devontae. Halfway through the conversation, she realized Alex is shooting his shot. Alex, who is engaged, my God, today. My God, today. Alex, who is engaged, is shooting his shot with Brittany, who's engaged. And Brittany was so caught off guard. She was just like, does Ashley know? That's all she can say. She's just like, does Ashley know? Like, what the heck? I cannot believe it. The cojones on this man. Wow, his fiance is sitting right there. And I don't think, even though Devontae is not really feeling Brittany, I don't think he told Alex, oh, go take her. Alex said, I see what I want. I'm going to get it. Alex, this is why you're single. This is why you're not a good guy. I could not believe that. I'm like, the cojones on this dude. That is crazy. Is he like Brazilian or something? Because to be a white, I guess, I'm assuming a white American man, for Ashley not to be your beauty standard and for Brittany to be it, that's odd. That is odd because America pushes Ashley down our throats. For Brittany to be his type means that he has grown up in a completely different culture where Brittany is the standard. Because him not liking Ashley don't make no sense for American men. It don't make no sense. So then I feel like somehow this conversation got back to Ashley because we cut to them after everything is done. We cut to them having a conversation and he's telling her a completely different story. He's like, oh, I was just talking to Brittany because her and Devontae are having some issues. And he's acting like he was helping her. And then he goes, I don't think it was flirting. And Ashley was like, I hope it wasn't. He's like, no, if it came up that way, it's not. He's trying to cover his bases. Because if Brittany says something to Ashley, he wants to be in front of the conversation and be like, oh, I didn't think it came off as flirty. If it did, I'm apologizing. But he is shooting his shot. Alex, do you not realize there's going to be a reunion? I cannot believe this dude. And Ashley, who did not have any doubts or concerns before, is now starting to have doubts and concerns, and you should. And you should. It's also not lost on me that as soon as they got out the pods, all of these relationships fell apart. I don't think a lot of these relationships are going to make it to the altar. I think when they all move in together, I think a lot of them are going to fizzle. My God, today I gotta stop talking. Ooh, cha, right here, right here. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this episode. What do you guys have to say? Let's get in to it. We have a super chat. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Kimberly says for dental surgery. Thank you. Thank you. My God, today. I will say I have a great dentist. I have a great dentist. He's been calling and checking up on me, and he's a prayer answered. I've been praying for a dentist to a good dentist who is professional, who listens to me. Because I told you, my last dentist didn't believe that I could feel pain. Don't worry, he's not practicing anymore. But so this was like a big deal for me. So I am so thankful. And now that I finally got a dentist, I'm like, what do I need to do? Because it's been a minute. So I'm getting everything done. That's why I'm going to be in and out of here because it's time. It's time, guys. I got to do the adult thing. It's time. But I'm not going to be, I'm going to try to, space out things here so that I'm not gone for too long. But thank you all so much for understanding. And thank you so much, Kimberly, for the super chat. Nisha said, no, can you please do a Love is Blind recap on Fridays or earlier East Coast time? I'm here, but I might only make it 1 hour or a half an hour. I'm so sorry. This is a little late because I decided to do it at the last minute. I was supposed to take a break today, make this another day of rest, but I just knew I couldn't do multiple videos tomorrow, multiple lives tomorrow, and I would have had to do 3 tomorrow, and I just knew that I couldn't do that. So that's why I'm doing this. I do promise the next Love is Blind recap will be earlier. E for Empathy, hey sister, said, hey Nikki, hey Star fam, happy Thursday. I got caught up and forgot to watch, but I'm excited for y'all's opinion and commentary. Thank you so much. I will say it doesn't get interesting until, the end of episode 2. Hey Spency. Spency says, hey Nikki and Star fam, I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on this season. Kia slayed, and that low racial self-esteem man needs to leave Brittany alone. Guys, I don't think he sees himself the way we see him. I do not think so. Neglected said Keys definitely knew her worth, and Tyler only walked away after she begged Kavan to choose her the second time. I'm like, girl, stand up. But here's the thing, guys. Kavan plays that good guy role, and he plays it well. I also think, like I said before, something is happening, and I don't think he understands. There's a disconnect there with communication. There's something going on with him that I think is not him being a jerk, but him just not knowing that he's a bit different. But he also plays the good guy role. So he's telling her one thing, and you have to realize with Tyler, she is hearing these things from him and sharing these intimate moments with him. And then she's going in the pods, and all of the women are just like, he's telling Kia the same thing. So she's not hearing these things from him. When she goes into the pod, she's hearing that you're all I want to be with. You are my number one. You are my girlfriend. You are who I want to marry. But then the women are talking to Kia after she meets with him, and he's telling her the same thing. And the women are like, girl, he's playing you. So she's hearing one thing and experiencing one thing from him, but then getting this information from her girls when they talk to Kia, but she's not talking to Kia. So I can understand where she's coming from, because the show is trying to make her look irrational and emotional. But I think we all would have felt what she felt had we been in that situation. With this guy is like, you're talking to him, he's giving you the world, but then the people who are experiencing somebody else that he's talking with is just like, we think he's gaslighting you. So she had to put 2 and 2 together and finally chose herself, and I'm proud of her. Janelle said, hey Nikki and Star fam, this season is a snooze fest. So I skipped through a lot of the episodes. I wanted Brittany to get away from Patrick. Oh, me too. Neglected said, I need someone to tell Brittany the wall in between her and Devontae is the fact that she's not white. I need him to explain that because I'm like, I cannot. The way he was talking about her, I was just like, how different do you think you two are? He's so weird. Hey, Mama Star. Mama Star said, hi, Star family. Mama Star is here for the review. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day today. Love you all. Love you too, Mama. Devonda said, yes, I just watched all first episodes and and it's too much, Emma. And Steven is a creep and so many red flags. Child. Cameron said, I'm here. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Star fam. Hey, Cameron. Pay says, hey, Star fam. Haven't watched an episode, but so ready for this review. Y'all had me starting Love During Lockup. LOL. Love During Lockup is so fun. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to be able to do a Love After Lockup because I'm, at least for the next week, I am only going to do 2 lives per day because I feel like that's all I can handle. Like I'm doing this one live and it's already a lot for me. So I can't give myself too much to do um, while I'm still healing up. As soon as these stitches leave, we'll see. Saffron says, don't watch the show. We're always here for a Love is Blind NikkiStar review. Thank you so much, Saffron. Spency said, well, you look stunning and I hope you feel better, Nikki. Thank you so much, Spency. Thank you, Liza Galilee. Says you're in our prayers. Devonda said, Stephen is red flags. Stefan is red flags central. His talk with Emma was so creepy. He didn't even give her a chance to speak at all. Sarah said, Alex is a big loser for sleeping with Ashley consistently and not telling her his feelings about their relationship, then to hit on another gay participant. Oh, my OMG, terrible dude. This is why I feel like Love is Blind has ran its course because it's getting dangerous. Because it is very obvious that the men that are on this show are just here to have sex with women and to have their moment at the altar. And it's not fair. These women are really coming on this show because they are looking for a partner. These men are not ready. And Love is Blind has already mentioned that they have a really hard time finding men who want to get married on the show. It's very difficult for them. They're not finding serious men. So you're putting these unserious men in an experiment with women who are serious and ready to go. And they are thinking that these men are on the same page. And you're hoping that they figure out that these guys are terrible men. But you have to realize they're trusting the process. So they're trusting that you find men and put men on the show who are in the same place that they are, not knowing that these men are not there. And it's not fair. And which is why I am looking at Vic and I'm looking at Alex like, you two don't need this show. So why are you here? Y'all here to hunch and play and be seen. And that's not fair. Neglected said the issue with Emma is that she needs major therapy for her adoption identity issues and her body scars. She's projecting a lot onto the men based on what she's been through. I also think she's uber protective of herself because just how she has grown up. I absolutely agree. Our girl needs therapy. Chocolate said, I think there will be marriages, but maybe not with who they left the pause with. Probably, child. This might be a polyamorous show. Azak said Tyler made the atmosphere in the women's lounge weird. Hunting who was dating, who was shouting out names. I can see that, but also the women were feeding her information. Poor thing. She really wanted to leave there with a husband, but that's the thing. You gotta, some people are too ready for this process. And I hope that she, reevaluated and watched herself on TV and was just like, why was I so desperate for this? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping. Yeah. Jen says, I agree. It's not working anymore. It's clear now that love is not blind. Absolutely. Especially with Alex. He saw Brittany. He said, oh, that's what I want. That's what I want. Thank you so much for letting me know that you don't want her, Devontae, because I do. Devonta said Kia told Kevon about himself and told him to keep the watch to figure himself out. She sure did. Thank you so much, Mama Star. Mama Star said, so glad you came on tonight, Nikki. The Star family loves you. Feel better. Thank you, Mama. Neglected said Jess is probably conservative. At least that's what I gathered. Ohio is very red. Yeah, when she said that, I didn't want to comment on that because I didn't know her views, but she was really adamant about that. So I'm just like, what do you mean about your political beliefs? And them leaving that in, I'm like, is that going to play a part in their relationship? We'll see. Lies Legality, Reality said, folks are going to disagree with me, but this must be said. Cameron was looking for a black woman. He was using his magic ears and got lucky with Lauren. There, I said it. um, I think remember, Cameron said that's all he dates. So I think he was just going after what normally works for him. Hey, Jasmine. Jasmine said, I officially gave up on Love is Blind after Ashley and Tyler mess, but I still like the reviews. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Mama Star said, please, Star family, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to the channel. Tell a friend. Join us as we have a great time on NikkiStar TV. Thank you, Mama. Devonda said, Tyler was great for TV, especially saying redo and was happy being a girlfriend. Yeah. That's what you want on reality TV. She gave us a show. Good for her. NC said, I was given T before I even started watching, and I'm glad I was because Netflix isn't getting a single rating from me on Black Women History, on Black History, Woman History Month, period. They always set the Black woman up to fail. Here's the thing, guys. We would have had Black love on this show if the Black woman didn't settle. And I wanna have this conversation because I think we are looking at this so differently. Like, I know we want representation on these shows, but what kind of representation do we want? I think Tyler and Kia were great representation, right? We had with Tyler, we had a sister who knew what she wanted and thought that she found a man who wanted that, right? Halfway through the process, she realizes that this man is playing with her, right? She makes a move, she trusts her gut, and she gets out of that situation. But then the people around her convince her that she's actually being irrational. So she comes back into the process and she realizes that she was right the first time. And she chooses herself. She leaves and she's just like, absolutely not. I know what I want. And this man is not serving me. I think that is the perfect representation of Black women, right? That's why we are not the most desirable because we don't play no games with them men. We don't allow them to walk all over us and make us look like a fool. We know who we are. And more importantly, we know who men are. They ain't that amazing. So we know with that knowledge and information, we as Black women choose ourselves every time. And we're always on the right side of history, right? We realize seeing women who don't do that, who choose the men, and we see that what happens with that. So we're always on the right side of history. So here we have a Black woman who was trying, like we all do, fighting for Black love. It's not happening. And she'd rather leave single than to be in a relationship with a marriage with a man that she has to constantly remind how to treat her, that she has to beg to make a decision, that she has to beg to lead, for him to lead. She knew that this wasn't for her and she walked away. I thought that was great representation. And then you have Kia, who came on here, was fighting for the same man, had a little something with the woman, and was just like, girl, I know what I signed up for. This is what I wanted. Right before this man gets to her and gets down on one knee, knowing good and well that she wasn't his first choice, right? She lets him know before you even do all that, You are not ready. So I'm not going to trust you with my body, my future, or my children because I know that you are not ready. So I much rather choose myself than put myself into a situation that I will regret and my children will suffer for. To me, that is great representation and it's honest and accurate representation of Black women. I much rather see Black women choose themselves and leave this toxic process than stay on this show and be tormented by a man that should have never been in the same room with them. So I don't think that's bad. I think that Tyler and Kia were great representation. Chocolate Sooner says, and I'm not saying that you didn't say that. I was just, just giving my thoughts on that. Chocolate Sooner said Netflix claimed that they didn't have the budget to send all the couples to Mexico. Then cancel the damn show. Cancel Netflix. You got the money. That's weird. That's weird. Hannah said when they started about religion, I was scared they were signaling Orange Man lover. I didn't pick up that. I was just a little nervous for Christine leading with that because I'm like, girl, you don't want to let them know that just yet. You don't want to let them know you're a praying woman just yet. Just yet. See, in Hannah, that's what I'm the way they're editing them. I'm like, something's going on. Something's going on. This edit is a. Why are y'all leaving out so much? We don't get nothing of Vicky Christine. And then we got one shot where she's asking him, do you think that you could have a white wife that's the mother of your children? And he goes, I don't know if it's that bad, but something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. Neglected says she was clearly saying she didn't want kids and they didn't listen to her. Mike will try to change her, and I think she'll conform to him and regret it. Absolutely. Azek said they could hear in her voice she was holding back omitted information. They would have more questions, which is fine. Hannah said, "Can't she do some sort of investigation to find her parents, like DNA testing?" I think she could, but then she also has to deal with her parents who probably don't want her to find them. And that happens with a lot of adopted kids. Like they don't reach out to that parent to the parents that gave them up for adoption for two reasons: one, being rejected by those parents, and two, hurting the parents who adopted you. That's a tough situation to be in. Azak said Tyler was talking too much in a ladies' lounge, hunting for who was dating who. She had to figure it out because she thought she had this man in the bag, and then he switched up on her. Yep. Hannah said the self-proclaimed nice guy is never the nice guy. Weasley said, I'm going to give the sisters somewhat of a pass for their taste because they had slim pickings. Always. 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 Neglectic said, I repeated Kia a lot when she told Kavan that Tyler didn't deserve the way he treated her. I will say, at the end of this, I had so much respect for Kia and Tyler because one thing they did was hold each other up, right? Anytime they talked to Kavan, they were always admonishing the other women. And then when they both left, they gave each other their flowers. I love that for them. And I do think that they're actually friends. Hey, So Seth, thank you for being here. Neglected said, I respected Kia when she told Kavan Tyler didn't deserve the way he treated her. Me too. I really like the both of them. Weasley said, been looking forward to this live ever since this nonsense dropped. Thank you so much. Alexia said, I think when you sign up for this experiment, you have to expect and understand that your connection will have another connection. And honestly, I think Tyler knew that and expected that. I'm telling you, I think the problem is Kavan. And here's the thing. Two women experienced Kavan the same way. They were just two different people, so they had two totally different reactions because I think Kia didn't have the reaction that Tyler had because she has a totally different personality. But also, I don't think that Kia came on here for her husband, or when she was in her pause with Kavan, she knew he wasn't in. So she said, I'm gonna just have my moment because this ain't gonna be it for me. Um, I don't know. I looked on his Instagram. I didn't see any flag or anything. And normally the Caribbean people they love a little flag. So I didn't see that. So I don't know. I do know that Locks is from Grenada. But I think Kevon is African American. I think Seagram said Kia kind of forced the connection though. Tyler is weak. I think Kia forced the connection when she realized he wasn't for her. I think she was just like, oh, now since I'm not going to leave here with a husband, I'm gonna make my impact, and good for her. Good for her. Um, Kate said they're not seeing these women as human. You just said a damn mouthful. Thank you, Kate. Neglected says he likes her more than she likes him. She didn't even compliment him on the cookies. She said the girls like them, but she never said that she liked them. But this is the thing. That's how it needs to be. If you like him more than he likes you, yikes. Um, Lauren said, and he said he ain't dated a non-white woman. Yeah, he has some identity issues. The way he speaks, I'm like, Devontae, your name is Devontae. Something is up. So I'm telling you, I think that's what he sees in the mirror. Eat for empathy. Neglected said he gives passion with Holmes. He does. He does. Um, Chocolate Suda said Devontae's name was a little bit of a giveaway, like Jalen, Jaden. You know what? I don't think that that's like a normal biracial name. Devontae is very black, very black. Ashley said it's ironic Devontae doesn't want Brittany because she's not white, but that's the exact reason Alex doesn't. Ain't that crazy? Alex said, I don't want it. I want a dark skinned, big booty Latina. My God, today. Brittany was so confused in that conversation. She thought she was getting advice. Girl, he was ready to propose. He saw that behind and them titties, and Alex said, this is what I came here for. I'm sorry. Take that white woman away from me. The Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want. Get over here, Brittany. Neglected said Alex and Brittany had more chemistry in one conversation than she ever had with Devontae. She did. I got it. I got to be honest there. Chocolate Suna said, bro reminds me of Summer House. Lindsay and Boston Lizzie with Mark the Shark. It's giving alpha female. Oh, Bree? Yes, you call her bro? Chocolate said, Ashley is not here for the right reasons. Even Alex tried to talk about books. You know what? Listen, Ashley could be having a little whole season on Love is Blind as well. But I really think she likes Alex. Sarah said, from the previews, it seems like Alec and Ashley at least make it to the wedding, and that's insane. Probably because he's not being honest with her. I'm telling you guys, I think Ashley is watching this show like, oh my God. I think she's probably blowing up her group chat right now in tears, feeling foolish because I don't think she knows that Alex was not into her. Especially, and this happens all the time on this freaking show, these men are not attracted to these women, but they'll still have sex with her. It isn't, we've seen it time after time after time after time after time after time after time on this show. These men are like, oh, she's not my type. I wouldn't really go for her. You're still putting her through a mattress. Still got your engagement ring on. The way they are able to lie and like live these separate lives is crazy. Zach says Alex and Brittany to dump their partners and link. I don't want Alex. I don't want Alex for Brittany for Brittany to get with Alex. He's not a good guy. That's a terrible thing to do. You are literally engaged to somebody else, talking to somebody who is engaged to somebody else who thinks that you're their friend, and you must think that Brittany is a terrible person. to even approach her to be down with this switcheroo. And then you're not even telling Ashley the truth. Terrible guy. Neglected said he wants to be a member of Fight, but his story about the teammates leaving him was ironic. He is so pissed that his professional athletic career ended. He is bitter. Those are not good guys. Those are not good guys. Neglected said Alex was going to admit his conversation with Brittany until Ashley didn't let up about it. Yep. Because he was over there with it for a long time. Of course, Ashley was going to say something like, what was the conversation about? It's giving settled, but they seem to act like they really chose each other, Zach. It's weird. Alexia said Chris dumped Bree, so she had to go with Connor. It feels like this season, everybody except for Vic and Christine settled. That's what it's giving. Oh, Kate said, it's a very weird segment of white culture. Okay, thank you, because I'm like, what is this? It is so weird how they're talking to each other. And I'm like, do y'all like each other? What is happening? When Connor was talking to the men about Bree, what do I like about Bree? It's not a lot. You proposed to her. What is going on? I felt crazy watching that. Love Like You Are said, when Connor told the men that Bree doesn't shut the F up, I said, oh, what a weird thing to say. Absolutely. About somebody who's about to be your wife? The mother of your children? That's crazy. Well, here's the thing. I feel like Alexia says Bree talks about Chris too much. Here's the thing. I'm like, does she regret it? What is going on? I'm telling you, the next episodes are about to be crazy. The next episodes are about to be crazy because they rarely show them people. I don't think we even saw them living together. We saw them looking at each other's homes, a few couples. We didn't even see them living together. Something is going to happen because we just did not, a lot was not developed. And I feel like a lot was not developed because a lot is going to happen in the next episodes. Chocolate says the engagement days are all the same day. Now that you say that, I'm thinking about what everybody was wearing. You're right. You are right. Neglected said, I think Bree thought she would have the men flocking to her in Mexico and got mad when they didn't. That's why she made a big deal about talking to her pod exes. I think so too. And I think Connor picked that up. He didn't like it. Kate says the editing of this show drives me nuts in general. Same. Because I'm like, what day is it? Like, what is going on? I think I was going to say I wish they would put the days that they're in the pods and, but I think that would just mess up the editing for them. So they just pull everything from different days and try to give us a story. But it's looking so confusing because you have people who are already engaged and seeing each other still actively in episode 4. But they've been gone since episode 1. It's weird. Azak said, I need to tell them right now that you're only dating me after 7 days in the pod. Well, listen, if the person is saying that you're the one, you kind of need them to be like, okay, lock it down then. Neglected said, even though they're only 6 years apart, I think she'll start to boss him around. I like Jess, but she gives me that. I will say when they met, it did give mother-son. She seems way mature than him. And he seems uncomfortable with her mothery. It seems like that's what their relationship has dived into. Like he's this teenage boy and she's this mom that's loving on him. That's what it's starting to divulge into. Azak said, Bree wanted Chris, Emma wanted Connor, Bree settled for Connor, and Emma with me. Yep. It's a season of settling. Neglected said, out of the 3 men Emma was involved with, Connor was her best guy. The bar is where? Hell. BB said, can we talk about how Devontae named Devontae doesn't like POC women? Sir, you is black. I don't think he knows that. See, Graham. I don't think Kia or Tyler would have wanted him. So everybody did themselves a favor by not going through the process. Neglected said, I'm glad Tyler chose herself, but I wish she hadn't come back after she left the first time. But remember, she was convinced. A lot of these women were convinced to stay in the process. They did not. Tyler wanted to leave. Emma wanted to leave. They were all talked into this nonsense. Azak said Kevon flopped when he didn't drop Tyler after the storm out. Kia was securing the experiment of multiple connections. She knew what it was. She knew what it was. Seagram said Kia didn't want him after Tyler left. She was playing the game. I think Kia realized probably early on in their pods that she didn't really like him, but she wanted her moment. Good for her. Azak said Kia wasn't invested. Day 6, she blocked him for breaking up. Kia was telling Kevon everything he wants to hear in the pods. Yep. Yep. Azak said, Kia don't break up yet. Talk more, give me more TV time. Kevon, get to know the both of us to the end. Absolutely. This was TV time for her. Devonta said Kia was interested in the food, LOL. I knew she was leaving the way she was packing her to go play. Yep. Well, you know what? I'm not getting that, Miss Pure Genius. At least right now, she seems really popular. She seems really popular. Devonta said, but Tyler shouldn't say Kia was her man with her man. Side B, she was wrong for that around the ladies. Tyler was very emotional, and I think she's watching the show back, being like, I was going crazy over that man. My God, today the women. I can't wait for this reunion. So Stuff said they said it was because of the budget they went to Malibu. Too many couples. That's ridiculous. Well, you know what? They're probably doing it for us because remember we were just like there were basically no couples last season. So I guess they force a lot of couples because you can see in these episodes where the producers are being a lot more vocal than they normally are. They're convincing people to stay in this process because I think they wanted to have more couples since they haven't been having a lot of couples the last seasons. And that's why I think we're going to get a lot of couples. While we have a lot of couples, I don't think these couples are making it to the altar. Hey, Jesse, thank you. The devil is a liar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Victory is mine. Yeah. Azek said Bree wanted Chris and Connor has eyes and can see it. Yeah, he knows. But I'm like, do you like Bree? I'm not convinced he likes her. Hey, Miss Brown Sugar. Miss Brown Sugar said, MF named Devontae got problems with melanin curves. Go away from me with this BS. And let me tell you something. There is something really wrong with him if he is not attracted to Brittany because of the color of her skin. Brittany is a baddie. He should be honored that she is even trying to make something work with him. If you cannot see that woman as beautiful, you need just as much therapy as Emma. Because something is wrong, brother. With a name like Devontae. What is going on? What is going on? Cassandra said he has never dated a woman of color, and there's no way he would. Oh, yikes! Yikes! Lauren said she is such a baddie, but when she said she wanted a taller guy, I said, "Girl, you're like 5 feet nothing." But you know, height holes exist. I'm currently getting delivered from that. E for Empathy said all of these dating reality shows are humiliation rituals for women at this point. Exactly. That's why I'm like, if you're going to go on these shows, pull a Kia. Neglecta said Brittany is stunning and he doesn't want to touch her. I hope she doesn't conform to being intimate with him just so he can give her some attention. Here's the thing. I'm so glad that he's rejecting her because her saying we can have sex so you could feel something, that hurt me to my core. I'm like, this man is not attracted to you and you are willing to open up your body to him so that he could feel something. Absolutely not. And oftentimes that is why those men do it. They want to break you down so you get to a point where the boundaries that you set, you remove all of those boundaries and let them have free reign over you. I'm so glad that he is like putting the brakes on her, because if she would have slept with that man, it would have just ruined her self-esteem. And listen, whatever self-esteem that was ruined, my God, today Alex brought it right back. Alex swooped in and was just like, don't feel sad. Don't be hard on yourself, girl, because I want you. My God, today. I didn't want to say it, but I said, wait a minute, Alex. Are we calling you wrong? Because I said, your favorite movie is The Bronx Tale. Should Tyler have been trying to talk to Alex? My God, today. Because Love Like You Are said, when Alex said his favorite movie was Bronx Tale, I said, oh, I know what you are. And listen, what? That's a very like specific movie. That's your favorite movie? You know good and well you don't want no white woman. That is so crazy. He definitely wants to wife swap Azak. And he was going to do it. If Brittany would have been down, he would have did it. That is crazy. Neglected said Ashley is the one he wants to have. I don't know what that is. ONS with, and Brittany is who he wants to wife up. Yeah. Yeah. Which is so crazy. I need to see Alex's community because I feel like we're not calling him correctly. Nonsense Behavior said, isn't Brit also mixed as well? Like her dad is black and her mom is non-black Latina? Or did she said I thought that she was Latina. And you know, they're all kind of swirly. I thought that's what she said. Nonsense Behavior said Connor kicking Brie out of his home. I don't know if that was a misdirect. If that was like a joke. Well, I don't know, because you know, they play very harsh. So I don't know if that was serious or just like how they communicate. Chocolate Suda said Brittany is used to being the standard of the Blackish presenting folk, and Ashley is used to being the standard of the Western presenting folk. Neither can understand why the other doesn't want them. Absolutely. Which is why women shouldn't play into this foolishness. Because at any given moment, they can take away your preference card and have you out there looking foolish. Don't give them that power. Yes, thank you, Chocolate Sooner. Chocolate Sooner said, P.S. Like the live, y'all. Miss Brown Sugar said, Kevon also seems easily manipulated. He could see how the producers got Tyler rah-rah. So imagine how easier it was for them to lead Kevon every which way. Especially since, again, I think he's missing something. Or maybe not missing something, but I think he's crafted a little different than the rest of us. Thank you. Miss Brown Sugar said, prayers up for restful healing and swift recovery, Nikki. Thank you so much. Love Like You Are said, I was hoping that Brittany was going to leave the Michelin Man for the way he was driving recklessly on that jet ski. Ciao. Azak said, Emma wasn't stable for the show. One can say Tyler as well. Kevon as well. Like, watching that grown man try to make decisions was a little alarming. I was like, what's going on? Like, he could be swayed any which way, and you're trying to be the head of household? Bad. Gardening said Alex wants Brittany. Like, as soon as he saw her, y'all, he pulled her aside and was just like, Ashley's not my type, and I know Devontae ain't yours, so. And Brittany was like bold. He didn't even like pull her aside away from everybody. Everybody was sitting in the pool when he was making his proposition. That boy is crazy. That boy is crazy. I know his exes have stories to tell, child. Thank you, Dr. Inmani. Thank you so much. So Steph said, based on who Kia's best friend, she definitely came on to grow her audience, and that's not shade. Her bestie is Blake Newby, the youngest beauty director to serve at Essence, who wants to do Housewives. Good for her. Good for her. I'm not mad at it. Gardening Mama T said Tyler's intentions were pure and Kevon was not. I love that she trusted her gut and left. Me too. Hannah said lack for black love to happen, black men need to truly self-improve. We black women can't elevate ourselves and seek black men who are on our level emotionally, financially. I absolutely agree, but I also want us to understand that these shows are not picking for a black audience. They are never picking black people who will choose each other. We have had black women who go on these reality TV shows say this all the time. These reality TV shows are picking black men who date everybody and a specific kind of woman. So they are not, if you want black love, you're going to have to watch a black network, right? You're going to have to watch OWN. You know what I mean? You're going to have to watch Chasing Atlanta. Like, you're not going to find it on these shows who are who are picking contestants that will choose whiteness every time. Like, you're not going to get an Asian person on the show that is looking for an Asian person to be married to. They're not going to pick that person. They want people who are going to pick a white partner because they are building a show for an audience that they think is mainly white. That is who they are seeking to attract, and that is who advertisers want to, advertise to. Like, especially like for a lot of us, we are paying. A lot of people are not paying for Netflix Premium, right? So there's commercials, and you really want to pick for the advertisers. So you could tell these advertisers that this demographic that holds the most wealth in America are watching this show, and we are crafting this show to appease them. So because this audience knows that we are favoring them, they're going to tune in to watch this show. So we can guarantee this demographic that holds the most wealth in America, we can guarantee them watching. Now, would it be great for them to be like, we have this demographic who spends this much, especially with Black Americans? Black Americans, well, Black community in general, spends $1.7 trillion a year in America. You will want to advertise that, but we don't hold the most wealth. We spend the most, we don't hold the most wealth. So you have to realize that the white audience is always going to be in favor with these shows because of how wealth is distributed in America. So again, I wouldn't put this on black men. I wouldn't put this on black love. I wouldn't put this on the black community because you have to realize this show is being crafted for the approval of a white audience. So you're going to get black people who are fawning for other cultures, and you're not really going to, like with Brett and Tiffany. They were assuming Brett was a different type of brother. He probably came on that show saying, "Oh, I've dated everybody," but probably left out the fact that, but I want to marry a black woman. Probably didn't tell them that. That's how we got Brett and Tiffany. If Brett would have been in that in the casting saying he only wants to marry a black woman and that's what he's seeking, they probably wouldn't have chose him. They thought for sure he was going to go for a white woman. Brett heard Tiffany and locked in on her immediately. They didn't expect that. And that isn't what they casted him for. So don't be so hard on us. You know what I mean? This show isn't an accurate representation of the black community and black love in general. Neglected said, I'm surprised Brittany S. didn't make the cut considering she's a former Cavs dancer. A lot of people didn't make it, but there's so many couples and so many people did not make it, which is crazy. Chocolate Suna says the ladies all need to stand on big business, ghost all those creeps in the pause, and show them that we deserve better. I wish that the women on the show would pull a Tyler and a Kia and be like, these men ain't giving me what I need. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Thank you, Irene. Thank you so much for this. Thank you. I'm doing way better, child. CZAC said Emma wasn't just adopted, she was abandoned. Did I miss that? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah. Azak said Emma wasn't just adopted, she was abandoned at the door after being born with her defects. That is trauma wounds need years of therapy. And you are right. My God, today. Social Steph said, I even saw an Asian and white woman saying Devo is acting weird and doesn't know. Child, he throws me. Just the way he was talking about Britney, I said, Devontae, do you know what you look like? You are not passing for anything but black. Like, you no, nobody looks at you and sees a white man. BB Girl says, so usually the Love is Blind season that is released in February is the wholesome one, meaning the Boston one will be insane. Oh, we know that Boston is going to be crazy. We know that Boston and Philly, get ready. Weasley said he might believe Devontae's friends. Please, please. Azak said, Connor on the bed listening to Bree say part 2 with Chris was so good. I need a part 3. Just crazy. We will see, child. It's coming. Something is coming with these next episodes. Prepare to be floored. Oh, okay. Jessie Fierce said Brittany said that she is black and Colombian. Okay. Hannah said Colombian is Afro-Colombian. Jessie said no. Her dad is black and her mom is Colombian. Ooh, that was a little too much color for Devontae. Your name is Devontae. That is crazy. Nazis Behavior said they need to remove Kwame, Chelsea, and Marshall from casting associates on this show. And you know what? I happen to agree. No shade, but since they start allowing the Love Island, the Love is Blind cast in the casting room, the casting has been off real bad. Real bad. BB, I don't think we're going to get it again. I think the thrill is gone. The magic is gone. And we just need to let it go. Give Me Shelter said, yep. And a mainly white audience wants to be the most desired out of all the other races on these shows. Look at what they did to Alandria. For months, many couldn't believe she was desirable. I am absolutely going to have to disagree with that because I think these networks are telling the audience what they want. We have seen time and time again with fully led black shows that have large white audiences. White people, Americans, will just watch what is good, what is a really good TV show. The majority of viewers that Insecure had was white people. The majority. And white people were not featured, they were not the center. But they watched that show religiously. And I think here we have again these executives who don't live in reality, don't live in real America, don't associate with the majority of Americans, are thinking that this is, or making an idea of what this is what the audience wants. You don't even know that audience. You wouldn't even associate with that audience. So what are you talking about? You don't know. You just need to look at the numbers and go with that. But they don't. They really don't. And this is why we have what we have. If they really casted people on this show who really wanted to be married, who were equally yoked, who were looking for a partner for real, and not just getting one offs, this show would be so successful. But that's what season 1 was, because how can you cast for an audience that you don't know exists? So they really had to build their audience at that point. And that's why season 1 was so great, because there was no fan fodder. There was no glamour behind that show because nobody knew what it was. And these people who came on this show really didn't even know the show was going to be picked up, but came there with good intentions. And that's why season 1 has the longest lasting marriages out of any season. Of course they would because they're the first, but I just mean like those marriages are still standing strong. We have had people who have got married in later seasons who are divorced. But I think that's why season one worked so well, is because these people really wanted it and they got it. Tiffany said, Ananta's behavior said, Tiffany fell asleep on Brett in the pods. And he said, that is my woman. I remember that. I was screaming at my TV. I was like, girl, wake up. You're about to miss the best thing that ever happened to you. Give Me Shelter said, wait, are you sick, Nikki? I had in 20 minutes. No. I had dental surgery. So my mouth is a little sore, but I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. JL said it's a mix of emotion, empathy, rage, and embarrassment seeing an Asian not trying to decolonize. But get your girl grace. I think this what's happening in America right now, I think it's so beautiful, but I also think that it's going to be rough for a minute. Here's why. America has changed so much so fast that there are communities that are forming that really need to find their identity. We talked about it in one of my last lives about how the immigrant community is going to have to find an identity here, right? Because they're finding out that identifying as an immigrant isn't safe. It isn't safe, but that is the identity that was placed upon them. But then also being like, for many of them, especially first gen, this is all I know. So I know my parents' culture, but I've been an American my whole life. I haven't even visited the land of my parents. My culture is basically what I grew up in. So that's a new community forming an identity that has roots in America. And now we have this next wave of, especially concerning Asian people in America, where it's just like a lot have been raised to, especially older generations, have been keep your head down, don't rock the boat. Younger generation of Asian people are realizing that that's not safe. We got to make a name for ourselves. We got roots here. We got to speak up because this what's happening is not okay. So we have to stand up and be bold. So give your girl some grace because that is not what has normally been taught, right? So this is what's normal. And this is also an Asian woman who has not yet really been able to find her culture or her identity. She's been living in the identity of her parents who has cheated her. They raised this woman who was from a baby who was clearly different in an environment where nobody looks like her. So she spends the whole time, her entire life, feeling different, being rejected, never being accepted, being mistreated, and probably going to her family and telling them what's happening, especially her parents, and they're telling her what is happening to her is not actually happening to her because they've never experienced what she has experienced. So, she's probably watching the show, figuring some things out now. Give your girl grace. She'll get it eventually. She'll get it eventually. And she'll find her people eventually, hopefully. Hannah says the show needs to take a break for a few years. I think it's ran its course. Same thing with Housewives. I think the reality TV shows that we have been watching for a very long time, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You never count your money. When it's sitting upon the table. Listen, you got to know when to retire. And I think it's time. And I think what happened is the Love is Blind creators don't have anything else in the chamber. And y'all need to start putting energy in what's next because this formula no longer works. Nonsense Behavior said it's crazy because it's not just a US version of the show where the quality is going down. Brazil, Japan. The formula doesn't work anymore. It worked for that time. It worked for COVID. It's not working now. DGF said Alandria has her laser set to stun. She was ready for her moment. She's here for the long run. Absolutely. Yeah. JL said Emma's so beautiful, only if she knows. Yeah. We don't know if she does, though. Give Me Shelter said, okay, points were made. It reminds me of the Mouse Marvel hedging out the Black Panther's marketability in Asia. But if Marvel, but it Marvel's films to break over 1 billion worldwide, it's gatekeepers holding us back. Absolutely. I think we're all figuring out that right now. Like, it's not us, especially with those files. We're seeing how much they manipulate concerning the masses and putting ideas and saying this is what it is when it really isn't. That's why I never trust the numbers. I never trust the numbers. You're not going to tell me that all of these people is watching this show. You're not going to tell me that this person has this many listeners. I'm not listening to Spotify when they say that this many people are listening to this podcast. I don't believe that Joe Rogan has the pull that everybody is saying he has. I don't believe that Theo has the pull that he's saying he has. I don't believe those YouTubers and streamers have those numbers. I believe that the people who benefit from using their platform to spread their nonsense absolutely inflated those numbers. I think with the release of that, mess, them files, I think we all have realized it's been a huge con. And I think everybody is waking up. Chocolate Suna said, I live in Arizona where there are a lot of Native people, and what are they supposed to say? I think Native Americans have said enough. They said enough. They're like, y'all figure this out. We've been told y'all about them. Jesse says, as a first generation daughter, you are so right. Spanish was my first language, but I had to learn English for school. And now I feel self-conscious speaking Spanish to other family members when we visit. Well, here's the thing, Jesse. This is your time. This is your time for your generation to craft out what is your identity and how are you going to lead out now? Because you're not your parents, right? Your parents immigrated here. You didn't. You are American. How does that look? And this is the perfect time to figure that out. America's dying, guys. The America that we knew is gone or vastly dying. Start building. Start building her and what you want her to be. This is the perfect time for that. BB said, it's crazy how Ola and Nick are the only ones booked and busy. Haha, love it. It's because the audience that Love Island was trying to force to think one way said, no, we see what you guys are doing. This is what we want. This is who we are rooting for. And even though you don't want them to win, we're going to make them winners. And that's exactly how the audience is supposed to do. You speak up. You run that show. You pay their bills. You are the power. Give Me Shelter said, right after this video, I'm searching for Kenny Rogers. Fun fact, as a little kid, I thought he was Santa Claus. Me too. Me too. Him and Michael McDonald. I really thought that he pretended to be Kenny Rogers until Christmas. Me too. I especially thought that he was the Santa on Coca-Cola. I thought that was Kenny Rogers. The Coca-Cola Santa. He had said all the housewife shows are boring, even the new ones. Yep. The times are changing. They need to figure it out. It's time to retire that stuff and give us something new. Chocolate Suna said, but fusion is still so taboo, but we are everybody now. It's true. I mean, I get that it's taboo. It's just the honest to God truth. Black Americans, my people, we got to define our identity now, because before, when we got here, it was just us. Now there are people who look just like us who don't have the same culture. So that has to be defined. And it's not a bad thing. It really, really isn't. All we have to do is respect each other and work together. It's that simple. It's that simple. Anyway, Star Family, I could talk to you guys forever. It's time for me to wrap it up. It's time for me to wrap it up. My ibuprofen is wearing off. I gotta go. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to attempt to do 2 lives tomorrow. I am going to do a reality TV chat, and I have to talk about the Bonito Bowl. There is so much that I want to say, and I have to talk about it with you guys. So I think my first live will be either at 2 or 4, because I know, for my East Coast people, I want to do something earlier. But just look out for that. Look out for that on my channel. And I will see you soon for that. And then I want to take a break for the weekend, and then I'll join you guys again on Monday. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is an interesting season. I'm not saying it's a good season. It's interesting. I feel like we got a lot more coming next week. And I think what we have seen is going to be completely different from what the next episodes that they drop. And I'll be there to review it. I love you all so much. I'll see you tomorrow for something else. Have a good night. Be nice to everybody. Be safe. And I'll see you soon. Love you all. Night or morning, wherever you may be.